Welcome to this week's edition of the Wireless LAN News Desk. My name is Tom Carpenter. I'm the CTO at CWNP. I want to begin this week by apologizing for the delay. We had some construction going on around the recording studio last Friday, and so I wasn't able to record until that was finished. So we're getting the news out to you here on this Monday evening. Now, the news that I want to share with you was an interesting article I came across at ZDNet. And they open up with, first of all, a topic title that says, "Think your Wi-Fi is faster than mobile internet? Not in these 33 countries." I'm going to point out a misleading comparison that's being made here, and you'll see why. And then it goes on to say, even before 5G arrives, mobile speeds have overtaken Wi-Fi in many parts of the world. When you go down further, it says 10 years ago, Wi-Fi was universally faster than a cellular connection, but that's no longer the case in 33 countries, according to OpenSignal. And then you'll see OpenSignal's and, thankfully, a link to the analysis. When you go to the actual analysis by OpenSignal, it is not as improper in its comparison as the ZDNet article was. The ZDNet article indicates that mobile cellular is faster than Wi-Fi, but that is a false comparison. It is no doubt at times faster than poorly designed and implemented Wi-Fi, and it's no doubt faster than well-designed and implemented Wi-Fi that doesn't have a good internet pipe behind it. And they point that out in the actual OpenSignal paper. So I would encourage you to read through the OpenSignal paper. It has some good insights. And the most important thing that I take away from this news release is not that cellular and in the end 5G is going to be faster than Wi-Fi, but that we can't just think about Wi-Fi when we're implementing Wi-Fi. We've got to make sure we can handle the load that's going to be placed on the network. And we do find that people go outside of their company far more with mobile devices than they do with stationary devices. So think back to the 90s, or if you weren't around then, just pretend you were for a moment and realize we had desktop computers for most users. And those desktop computers connected to mostly internal resources. I remember working in corporations in the 90s, and we had desktop computers that talked to internal database servers, internal servers of various types, internal printers. Most communications were internal. Now that gradually changed over the years to more and more internet-based technologies being used, and today the huge move toward the cloud with AWS and Azure and other things like that is, of course, forcing us to see even those stationary devices using more internet bandwidth. But the point I'm making is that early on with Wi-Fi, a lot of the expectations of our devices, mostly laptops at the time, was that they're getting on the corporate network to access internal resources with some web browsing. Now we have to say that for many organizations that has shifted, so that the smallest percentage of access is to internal resources, and the largest percentage is to internet-based resources, thanks to the cloud and so many of our resources in compute and databases and everything being stored in the cloud these days. So we have to think about that internet pipe and make sure that it's giving users what they need. Interestingly enough, when you read through this article, it's going to become pretty clear to you that predominantly they're focusing on consumers that are using the internet, and that's what they're doing. They're using the internet. They're not using internal resources. If we were to compare internal private LTE 5G, whatever you want to call it, to Wi-Fi accessing internal resources, if they're both well designed, we'd see next to no significant difference, no perceivable difference for the user. But when we're talking about internet access, there can be a really big difference because we may have a small pipe that everybody's going out through to the internet. So as you read through this paper, make sure you pay attention to that reality, that we have to design good Wi-Fi, but we also have to make sure we have a good pipe behind it. And I would suggest in the vast majority of cases, when there's quote unquote poor Wi-Fi in a company that has a big internet pipe, it's because Wi-Fi was designed and implemented inappropriately, rather than it being that Wi-Fi could not give a good result in that scenario. So this is something, food for thought for this week, and make sure that you're looking ahead as well and prepared to deal with whatever comes in this Wi-Fi 5G battle that is ensuing over the next few years. Well, that's all I have for today. I want to thank you very much for viewing, and I'll see you next time.